Previous limiting ideas accepted figuratively form a restraining bed, gathering other such materials so that your mind becomes filled with debris. When you are spontaneous, you accept the free nature of your mind, and it spontaneously makes decisions as to the validity or non-validity of data it receives. When you refuse to allow it this function, it becomes cluttered. No apple tree tries to grow violets. Quite automatically, it knows what it is and the framework of its own identity and existence. You have a conscious mind, but this is only the topmost portion of your mind. Much more of it is available to you. Much more of your knowledge can be conscious, therefore, but a false belief, a limiting one, is as ambiguous to your nature as any apple tree's idea that it was a violet plant. It could not produce violets, nor could it be a good apple tree while it tried to. The mistaken belief is one that does not fit the basic conditions of your inner being. So, if you believe that you are at the mercy of physical events, you entertain a false belief. If you believe that your present experience was set in circumstances beyond your control, you entertain a false belief. You had a hand in the development of your childhood environment. You chose the circumstances. This does not mean that you are at the mercy of those circumstances. It means that you set up challenges to be overcome, set goals to be reached, set up frameworks of experience through which you could develop, understand, and fulfill certain abilities. The creative power to form your own experience is within you now, as it has been since the time of your birth and before. You may have chose a particular theme for this existence, a certain framework of conditions, but within these, you have the freedom to experiment, create, and alter conditions and events. Each person chooses for himself the individual patterns within which he will create this personal reality. But inside these bounds are infinite varieties of actions and unlimited resources. The inner self is embarked upon an exciting endeavor in which it learns how to translate its reality into physical terms. The conscious mind is brilliantly attuned to physical reality then, and often so dazzled by what it perceives that it is tempted to think physical phenomena is a cause rather than a result. Deeper portions of the self always serve to remind it that this is not the case. When the conscious mind accepts too many false beliefs, particularly if it sees that inner self as a danger, then it closes out these constant reminders. When this situation arises, the conscious mind feels itself assailed by a reality that seems greater than itself, over which it has no control. The deep feeling of security in which it should be anchored is lost. The false beliefs must be weeded out so that the conscious mind can become aware of its source once again and open to the inner channels of splendor and power available to it. The ego is an offshoot of the conscious mind, so to speak. The conscious mind is like a gigantic camera, with the ego directing the view and the focus. Left alone, various portions of the identity rise and form the ego, degroup, and reform, all while maintaining a marvelous spontaneity and yet a sense of oneness. The ego is your idea of your physical image in relation to the world. Your self-image is not unconscious then. You are quite aware of it, though you often reject certain thoughts about it in favor of others. False beliefs can result in a rigid ego that insists upon using the conscious mind in one direction only, further distorting its perceptions. Often you quite consciously decide to bury a thought or an idea that might cause you to alter your behavior because it does not seem to fit in with the limiting ideas that you already hold. Listen to your own train of thought as you go about your days. What suggestions and ideas are you giving yourself? Realize that these will be materialized in your personal experience. Many quite limiting ideas will pass without scrutiny under the guise of goodness. You may feel quite virtuous, for example, in hating evil or what seems to you to be evil. But if you find yourself concentrating upon either hatred or evil, you are creating it. If you are poor, you may feel quite self-righteous in your financial condition, looking with scorn upon people who are wealthy, telling yourself that money is wrong and so reinforcing the condition of poverty. If you are ill, you may find yourself dwelling upon the misery of your condition and bitterly envying those who are healthy, bemoaning your state and therefore perpetuating it through your thoughts. If you dwell upon limitations, then you will meet them. You must create a new picture in your mind. It will differ from the picture your physical senses may show you at any given time, precisely in those areas where changes are required. Hatred of war will not bring peace. Another example. Only love of peace will bring about those conditions. This marks the end of Chapter 2, The Nature of Personal Reality, Part 9 of Seth Speaks. Let's talk about it. In this one, Seth conveys the idea that limiting beliefs and false ideas act as mental barriers, cluttering the mind and hindering one's ability to realize their full potential. He emphasizes the importance of spontaneity and embracing the free nature of the mind in making decisions. Seth suggests that individuals have a deeper, more expansive self beyond the conscious mind, capable of shaping and creating their own experiences. He discusses the role of false beliefs in distorting perceptions and limiting personal growth, highlighting how one's thoughts and beliefs can shape their reality. Seth encourages individuals to examine their beliefs, weed out false beliefs, and consciously choose thoughts that align with their desired experiences rather than dwelling on limitations or negativity. Ultimately, Seth advocates for embracing love, for embracing creativity, for embracing positive thoughts to manifest a more fulfilling reality. If you've enjoyed this passage, please consider giving it a like, sharing with a friend, and of course, subscribing for more. Are you reversing your thoughts yet? Please leave it in the comments below. And until the next time, I am Tony Victory, a wolf uncaged. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you.